The police escorted everyone back to the ground floor and out into the courtyard, where several other officers were moving Professor Reed, Jack, and Ben into a police transport van. The governor glared at Axel as she was moved to the back of the car, but she also felt a chill run down her spine as she suddenly locked eyes with Madison, who gave her a threatening look as she gritted her teeth after what her son had to go through. The governor was placed right next to Professor Reed, who immediately wrinkled his nose. "What the heck happened to you?" he asked. The governor sighed. "I don't want to talk about it," she muttered. As the police van drove away, Jacob, Amy, Patrick, and Anthony swarmed Axel and his friends. They immediately engulfed Axel in a hug, relieved to see their new friend was safe. "I knew you could do it, kid," Jacob cried. "Thanks, Jacob," Axel said. Madison and Wilson shook each of their hands. "Thank you so much for keeping our son. Thank you so much for keeping our son and his friends safe," Wilson said to them. "You're welcome, sir," Patrick replied. "So, what are you guys gonna do now?" Samantha asked. Anthony smiled. "It's actually kind of funny that you mentioned that. The police actually commended us on our detective and fighting skills. They've offered each of us a place in the Streamline City Police Academy." "That's great!" Axel exclaimed. "You guys are going to do great in the police force," Isaiah added. "Thanks, guys," Amy said with a smile. After the police finished up their investigation, it was finally time for the students to go back to Binwood. As Samantha, Isaiah, and Olive headed for the bus, Axel stayed with his family. "I'm gonna ride home with my family," he said to them. "I'll see you guys at school on Monday." His friend smiled and waved goodbye as they headed to the bus, while Axel walked towards his family's car. Suddenly, he remembered something, and he quickly turned around and ran to catch up with his friends. "Samantha, wait!" he cried. Samantha stopped and turned around to see what was the matter. Axel stopped in front of her and frantically pulled out the piece of paper in his pocket. "There's something I've been meaning to ask you for a while," Axel stammered. Would you like to..." "Axel?" Samantha cut in. Axel looked up, only to get a kiss on the cheek. "Of course I'll go with you," Samantha said. Axel felt his cheeks burning as he watched her board the bus with Isaiah and Olive. "Okay, yeah, I'll see you there," he called, before shakily turning around and getting into the family car. The drive home was quiet and peaceful. Emily and Robin were overjoyed to see their brother again and held his hands the whole ride home. After a long drive, they finally pulled into the driveway of their house. Axel felt an enormous amount of joy as he walked through the front door. "It's good to be home," he sighed as he headed upstairs and found Blizzard waiting for him in his bedroom. "Blizzard!" he cried, as he hugged his cat, who purred loudly in his arms and nuzzled under his chin. After changing into his pajamas and climbing onto his hammock, he saw his mom gently opening the door. Hey, honey, she said softly. She stopped by his hammock and caressed her son's head. I'm so proud of you. You helped so many people in just a few days. You know what the best part is? Axel shook his head. You did all of this just by being yourself. Axel smiled happily as he realized this. I guess I did, he said. Madison smiled too, as she gently kissed him on the forehead and placed his security blanket into his arms. But I will be chaperoning all your field trips from now on, she chuckled. Axel laughed a little as well. That would be nice, he said. Madison hugged Axel one more time before turning off the light. Good night, sweetheart, she said. Good night, Mom, Axel yawned. And no sooner had Madison closed the door, Axel had drifted off to sleep, with Blizzard resting next to his chest. Relieved that everyone was safe. Laura, with the governor and her goons in custody, and that he and his friends were finally home safe and sound. A few days later, it had been nearly a week since Axel and his friends had returned to Benwood, and a lot had happened since then. The kids were featured on the news, explaining the governor's plot to the world and revealing the true purpose of the LNG program. Jacob, Amy, Patrick, and Anthony settled in quickly into their new lives in the police academy and were making great progress towards their graduation. Fast Track Tech was temporarily shut down, and a large portion of the staff was either fired after being found to have had knowledge of the hidden collaboration between the governor and Professor Reed. But after a change in leadership, the company began to rebuild its reputation. As for the governor, Professor Reed, Jack and Ben, they were given a life sentence and found a permanent home in the Streamline City Penitentiary. The other inmates found their downfalls to be quite humorous and never mind them that they got bested by an 11-year-old. Benwood was now buzzing with people wanting to learn the story of the kids who saved the free will of children all over the world. But for Axel and his friends, they were just looking forward to a fun night out. The night of the Benwood Middle School Fall Dance had arrived, and everyone was excited. At Axel's house, Madison was in the living room taking pictures of Axel in his blue dress shirt, yellow vest, and magenta dress pants with brown shoes. Okay, Maddie, that's enough, Wilson chuckled. We gotta get moving. Just one more, Madison pleaded as she readied her phone. You look so handsome. Mom, Axel said, blushing. Later at the school, Madison and Wilson dropped Axel off at the front of the gym. Text me when you're ready to come home, alright? Madison instructed. And try not to have any more unexpected adventures. Wilson chuckled. Axel chuckled as well, and waved goodbye to his parents. I love you, he called. Then he went into the gym. It was decorated with red, orange, and brown decorations, with paper leaves, trees, and even pumpkins to symbolize the approach of Halloween. Axel began scanning the crowds of students and to find his friends. People all around him were thanking him and asking him about his encounter at the Fast Track building. But he wasn't interested in that anymore. He was interested in being with his friends now. Axel managed to escape the crowd and made it to the snack bar. He was just getting a cup of punch when he felt someone tapping his shoulder. "Axel?" came a voice. He turned and saw Caleb, Julia, and Greg behind him. But they didn't look as threatening as they did before. "I just wanted to say thank you. For saving my brain last week. I still can't believe you actually helped me instead of letting that psycho experiment on me," Caleb stammered. "You're welcome," Axel answered quietly. "Look, I'm throwing another party next week, and you're more than welcome to come. I think it would be pretty cool if you did," Caleb added. "Yeah, I mean, you're a lot cooler than I originally thought," Julia added. "Yeah, way cooler," Greg piped in. Axel sighed. "Thanks, but no thanks. Even though I did help you all, I'm still the same me. If any of that never happened, I really doubt you ever want to invite me anywhere." The trio fidgeted. They didn't want to admit it, but they knew Axel was right. I appreciate the offer, but I'm going to stick with being around people who already appreciate me without having to risk my life." And he walked away, leaving the trio in disbelief. Samantha, Isaiah, and Olive were sitting at a small table when they saw Axel approaching them. "There's the hero of the hour," Isaiah announced proudly. Axel chuckled again as he hugged his friends. "You look nice," Samantha said quietly as he saw Samantha's blue and pink dress. "So do you," Samantha replied with a smile. Olive shook her head. "All right, lovebirds, let's hit the dance floor." "Wait, we're still short. We're still 3 people short," Isaiah called. "What do you mean?" Axel asked. "I thought it was just the 4 of us." "Whatever happened to the phrase, more is the more the merrier," came another voice. Axel whirled around and saw Jacob, Amy, and Patrick behind him. They were all cleaned up and dressed for the dance as well. "Hey, it's you guys!" Axel cried. As he ran into Jacob's arms. "How are you doing, kid?" Jacob laughed. "What are you guys doing here?" Axel asked excitedly. "Well, after you told me about this dance, we weren't going to miss an opportunity to celebrate your victory with you. Oh, now are we?" Axel smiled. He felt great seeing all of his friends together again. "And got room for one more?" came another voice. This time everyone gasped. It was Chloe, and she was dressed in a 60s dress and wore big colorful sunglasses. "Chloe?" Axel exclaimed. "I thought you said..." "Well, when one of your friends literally risks his life to ensure everyone gets the choice to live their life freely, acting like everyone else would be considered an insult." The kids laughed at that. And so more has joined their group. Even the Feldman siblings were there. Everyone was having a great time when Principal McAllister tapped the microphone on the stage, getting everyone's attention. "Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome the band performing for this year's fall dance. Please welcome Robin Norris and the Violet Knights." Everyone cheered as Robin and her bandmates Jennifer Dawn and Lane Clark stepped onto the stage with their instruments. "Thank you, everyone," Robin called out. "I just want to say that the inspiration for this new song I wrote came from a very important person in my life. My little brother Axel, who showed the world firsthand that being yourself is the single greatest thing you could ever do. That's why I decided to call this song No Normal. Axel, this is for you." Robin and her band began playing a loud, catchy tune that soon had everyone on the dance floor. Axel smiled at his friends as they all began dancing together. And for the first time in a long time, Axel felt truly happy again. Gone were the days of doubting himself. Gone were the days of doubting his self-worth and wishing to be like everyone else. Now Axel felt like he could do anything he could dream of, and never had any shame for being different from anyone else. Because, like a good friend told him, there simply is no normal. The end.